suppose it's time to see what they did to my book. Well, adventurers, if you are here, then you know who I am, and you know who they are, and what they've done. I'll tell you more about it at the end. For now, you're here for an unboxing. Goodness, it's warm. It is summer. I suppose I can ditch the coat. You're here for an unboxing, so we're going to get right into just that. An unboxing. Carefully cut the sealed branded tape. Now the version of this that was ordered for me is the Gothic version. Well, how about that? There's a shirt right off the bat. Alright, so at the very beginning we have a shirt. Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft. It's in its own little plastic bag. No fire directly in front of me, so this should be safe. Here's the front. And here's the back. Wonderful. It's very soft. Looks like it's done standard, screen printing or something like that. Excellent choice in color. Well, to be honest, it's thrown off a little bit by the blue lenses, so we'll take the readers off for now. So there's a slip immediately inside that tells you how to process returns if you want. Right now we have the magical wonder that is bubble wrap, protecting the box within itself. So before I take it out of the box, I'll show you how well it was protected. It was double layered. Here's the back. Nothing else in the box. I'm going to set that aside. That was loud. So here's our back. I didn't even look at it. That's very anticlimactic. The sides, not much to them either, but the front, beautiful as always. So I'm very pleased with the shirt so far. Box doesn't quite close. That means it's packed. So, the Shadowy Silver Edition, the Gothic box, our first thing, the Raven quill, Raven feather, not even a quill, and it's I don't know if you can tell this from the camera because of how my lighting is, it's mildly translucent. It's actually fascinating. Beautiful artwork. Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft, Beadle and Grimm's Silver Edition. Now, there is a lot to read here, so give me just a moment. Another layer of bubble wrap, and then we get to see, oh, very cool. Very cool. Dear purchaser, they couldn't have said Dr. Rudolph Van Richten. I mean, it is my book, after all. Welcome back. Been playing the trombone a little bit too much lately to go without the readers. Here we are. Nope, let's lean this way toward the candles. Yes, there we are. Welcome back. Hi, it's us, the men, women, and goblins of Beadle and Grimm's. Don't mind us at all. We're just here to watch and wave as you make your way back to the gaming table. Some of you are walking, others are running. Don't run! Running makes the goblins nervous. Some are wheeling your chair, or following your guide dog, or guiding another when you're coming back. It goes on much more like that. Let's see. What's in the box? That's what this handout has. So let's start right off the bat. We have a ton, just a ton of encounter cards. Absolutely a ton of them. So we have these beautiful encounter cards. They're actually folded over. I'm not really sure why. Maybe to make it easier for printing. You can make notes or something on the inside. Handouts. This is what these are. These are full-size handouts of every kind of creature you might come across. Well, maybe not every kind, but several kinds. There's a lot in here. It might be every kind. Were-ravens, ghouls. I've written books about all of these, you know. The Grimmishka, that one I don't have a book about. I'm not going to sit here and show you all of them. If you want all of them, buy the box. I'd like to make something very clear real quick. Beadle and Grimm's is not paying me for any of this. This was given to me as a gift, and you're experiencing this because somebody was kind to me. Not anybody from Beadle and Grimm's, though. This is a gift from a family member. So I just wanted to be very clear that this is a purchaser's point of view. I do not work for WotC. Despite my appearance, I am not officially under their rule. However, if either of those companies watching this would like to, work, I would love to. On to the unboxing. Apologies. So, this old man gets distracted. Here we have, these are the encounter cards. Those are creature cards. I misunderstood. So here we have a pack of goodies. These are the encounter cards, but on the back we have several things more. And at that moment, I ran out of recording space and broke the planchette. Alright. Apologies. We had some technical difficulties earlier, and we were cut off in the middle of doing our unboxing. So, you have to forgive my old age and technical ineptitude. However, I think it was likely for the best. This gave me time to look at all of the contents in depth, so that way I could more accurately tell you what we have here. But again, because I am old and neurodivergent, it is likely I will forget, so I'll be using this handy guide that they provided. And that is one of the first things you come across. Next, if you remember, the Raven quill art. And since we're on the subject of art, I think that's the first thing I'd like to discuss is not only is the quality of this art exemplary, and not only is it beautiful, but they have divided it up into handouts so you can pass it around your tables so all of your players can enjoy as well. And I discovered something in regards to the next thing that I'd like to talk about, encounter cards and art that has been pulled from the books. I figured out why they have these folds. As a matter of fact, it's so you can hang it on your Dungeon Master screen so your players can enjoy the art. Perhaps the art of the titular character, or perhaps instead the thing that is indeed trying to kill you. I particularly like these because even if you don't have a Dungeon Master screen, you can stand them on your table, like so. You have the art in front for your players to enjoy, and the reference card of the character sheet, or the stat sheet, I should say, on the back to be able to view. Now, while as impressed as I am with the art, what I love more is that Beadle and Grimm's has gone to the trouble of commissioning more artists. They commissioned more art, they paid more artists, and let me tell you, adventurers, that is my favorite thing to see. Paying artists for their art, bringing more into the fold for the players and the DMs alike to enjoy. And let me tell you, this art it's all phenomenal. I'm in love with every last bit of it. And this one, it's Vistani Travelers. I'd like to think that the gentleman in the brown coat with his back to you with white hair is yours truly. Because in case you are not aware, before Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft, there were several other guides that I penned, and I would like to talk to you about those very briefly. These are not part of Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft. These are not part of the Beadle and Grimm's box set. I just wanted to bring up the fact that I wrote Van Richten's Guide to Liches, Van Richten's Guide to the Vistani, we'll come back to that, Van Richten's Guide to Fiends, Van Richten's Guide to the Created, Van Richten's Guide to the Ancient Dead, Van Richten's Guide to Werebeasts, Van Richten's Guide to Ghosts, and of course, the one that started it all, Van Richten's Guide to Vampires. Now, I don't really have much beef in regards to most of these. There is one small detail that was completely left out of my guide to Ravenloft. What was supposed to be corrected after the Curse of Strahd. I am not cursed. Read this book. The things I have to say about this book, my guide to the Vistani, are for another video, but suffice to say, this is not a book about hunting monsters. This is a book about breaking curses. And I hope that you'll join me on that video in the future. Now, back to the matter at hand. We were discussing art, and I think that is where we will continue, because there is so much of it. We have these are literally just handouts. I'm a fan of this one. Set that down. Please stay. Hey, it worked. The more I see this, the more I like the fold. It was not I don't think this was a printing choice. I think that was a willful choice so you could use these at your table, much like I'm doing right now. Some of them I'm even tempted to cut and frame, but the conservator in me rails against that. We will get to the physical things, I promise. We will get to the things that are not on paper, I promise. All right, another quick thing. This one's easier to go about. I wondered before why this was done. They exploded the book. Not only to make it easier for the DM to use one volume and the players to use another, which they mentioned in their guide, but also they had already exploded so much of the art and the creature cards and concepts and maps and things out of the book. Why completely reprint it? Maps. I believe maps are probably the next and most important thing. I will choose one. Aside from, I wish to show you first off, a folder of very finely printed, high-definition maps. High caliber. All of the maps of the core of the Dread Realms are included in this folder, neatly protected. Again, just begging to be framed for the right gaming room or office or studio. Incredibly tempting. They included maps not only for their encounter, which I'll tell you more about here in a moment, Dread Tales from the warehouse, but they have maps for the House of Lament. And these are beautiful. Quite frankly, beautiful. The level of detail is astounding. Absolutely astounding. And to really do it justice, you need to see them in person. Now, I would like to remind you, I'm not being paid by Beadle and Grimm's. I'm not being paid by Wizards of the Coast. I'm an independent Dr. Van Richten from my own universe and my own set of cycles. However, I'm very pleased. I would like to talk just a little bit about the handouts. I'm going to move this. It's empty and I don't want to knock it over. They're handouts, again, high quality, not printed on blank cardstock. In fact, they went to the trouble of wrinkling this, and I can't help but wonder, were these hand wrinkled? Is each page a little bit different? Did they order pre-distressed paper? I would be curious to know. But the printing is beautiful, it's handwriting, and it adds to the immersion of any campaign. We have handwritten notes, certificates of death, a last will and testament, and what is probably my favorite prop or handout that comes in the entire book, wine labels. One from the Wizards of Wine, the famous Purple Grape Mash number 3, a favorite in Barovia. And something more curious that my memory is failing me. I do not remember, and forgive me if I'm reading the text wrong. It looks like it says Ludendorff wine, but on the middle of this label, you might be able to barely make it out there in red, Ludendorff arsenic wine. Why on earth would you want arsenic wine? It's beyond me. From a doctor's perspective, maybe skip that one, stick with the Purple Grape Mash. I am not paid by the Wizards of Wine, so I suppose I should say that. Now, This is Dread Tales from the Warehouse. This is a new encounter, a new series of encounters actually, 4 of them, that take place across 4 different Dread realms. These are in addition to, these were not in Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft. These are their own creations. There are maps included for this, as well as pre-generated characters that you could use for their encounter here, the Dread Tales from the Warehouse, or that you could use for anything else, any other campaign that you wanted to set up. Pre-generated clerics that use their new classes from Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft. I'm excited to try that out with my players, read through it in its entirety, and find out what kind of adventures we can get into, what kind of evil we can vanquish together. I know this is the part a lot of you have been waiting for, because who doesn't love physical goodies when it comes to gaming things? In front of me, I have a spirit board. Well, a spirit poster, but it is a spirit board in essence. Some of you may know the more colloquial term of Ouija board, but that is copyrighted by, is that the same company that owns Dungeons & Dragons? I don't know. Now, I am not one for contacting other realms in such a manner, so proceed with caution with what gates you choose to open. This does come with a matching planchette that I had the misfortune to mishandle, and you might have heard in the previous recording me break it. I don't know if the camera made it that far. We'll find out. I think that I accidentally pushed the center stone out. I think it was on me. Everything was well wrapped and well protected, and then it came out and chipped. I was able to glue it back into place. I think it adds character. I'm not worried about it. Seriously, Beadle and Grimm's, don't worry about it. I don't need another one. I think it's a beautiful decorative piece as is, and like I said, the little chips in it and me having to re-glue it adds a little bit of character. But again, I don't think this was, earnestly, I do not think this was the craftsperson's doing, or the company's doing. I think that was mine mishandling. You saw how rough I was pulling it off of the packaging. Anyway, it's beautiful. It's got this little glass stone in the center that magnifies what letter it's on. I have some spiritual misgivings with actually putting the planchette on the board and moving it around, so I'll let you experiment with that on your own. This ring is called the Ring of Ozybas. Now, in the book, it's an amulet, but we already got an amulet, and so they wanted to give us something different, and I appreciate that. I appreciate the fact that we didn't just get 2 necklaces, though I do know some people who are a fan of wearing multiple necklaces at once. I do appreciate that they tried to vary it up. It appears to be made out of pewter, or perhaps states metal, something similar, and it appears to have a skeletal Ouroboros, or Ouroboros, depending on your pronunciation, or a snake eating its own tail, surrounding a skull that does not have its lower jaw. Last but not least, the Amulet of the Raven, not to be confused with the Amulet of Ravenkind, which, if I'm not mistaken, Beadle and Grimm's also creates. This was made by the goblins at Beadle and Grimm's in conjunction with someone named Han Cholo. And to be perfectly honest with you, it's beautiful. It's very heavy. And it's definitely the sort of thing that I could see a cleric of the Raven Queen, or even paladin of the Raven Queen, possessing. Or maybe not even to do with the Raven Queen at all. Perhaps it's something to do with the Keepers of the Feather. There's lots of different uses for this. I appreciate the raven motif across a lot of what was done here. Ravens and roses. It's very well done. Adventurers, it has been my distinct pleasure to open this box set. Beadle and Grimm's shadowy silver edition of Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft. I am proud to say that I think they did my book justice, and then some. So, from the bottom of my heart to the team at Beadle and Grimm's, thank you. Well done. To all of you, if you can find it within yourselves and within your budgets to get this beautiful box set, I couldn't recommend it more highly. Well, adventurers, thank you for joining me for this unboxing. I hope that it was up to your standards. I certainly believe that this box set is indeed up to any discerning dungeon master or player standards. Adventurers, I believe that's all I have for you tonight. Remember, even if it's dark, where you're going, where you are, or where you've been, the sun will rise again. And I love you. So this was a lot of fun to do, and I hope that you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed doing it. This video is dedicated to a couple groups of people, namely my wife. She kind of stands alone in that she has put up with my hyperfixation of this character and this setting now for close to 3 years. The second would be the group of people who helped me get to know this character in earnest and hired me after hearing me do some voice work on YouTube, and then adopted me as part of their gaming group. I consider them like family now, and from the bottom of my heart, Fate Finders, from me to you, I love you very much, and thank you. And lastly, to a handful of creators that, by just being so unabashedly themselves, reignited a creative fire under my ass that got me doing stuff like this. So, again, from the bottom of my heart, Vivid Vivka, Ginny D, and the Azrai, thank you for your direct and powerful inspiration to be me, unabashedly. So with thanks out of the way, I wanted to tell you about my upcoming content, at least in regards to Van Richten. So as he mentioned, this book has some information in it that was left out of Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft. But Van Richten's Guide to the Vistani is his only guide that is not a monster hunting book. In fact, it is a book about how he got to know an entire race of people that he was wrong about. And it's the story of how he and his boyfriend broke each other's respective curses together. So if you want to hear more about that, stay tuned. Make sure you click subscribe, and if you enjoyed this, click like while you're down there. Also, I have RP content, roleplay content coming, that it will be Van Richten based. You can find that on TikTok for the shorter things, and I really hope to do longer form content, roleplay content, than just TikTok, you know, something in the 10-minute mark for here on YouTube. Aside from videos that I will be doing that are digital collaborations, the roleplay videos that Ginny D has set up on her channel, aside from some of those that I will be incorporating into Van Richten's roleplay here on YouTube, I will also be doing some of my own original roleplay content that involves Van Richten and some other characters, original characters, maybe visiting characters, other people that want to LARP with me in these videos, and let's just make short films. I mean, let's be honest, that's what it would be. Anyway, so there's lots to come in regards to Van Richten and roleplay content and that sort of thing here on the channel, so make sure you subscribe if you're interested in more. I completely forgot to show you the shirt because I realized that in the old frame, or in the old recording, I did not show this shirt off. It was totally out of frame. And here's the back. It's very comfortable. It's incredibly comfortable. I love it. And yeah, that's all I have for you, adventurers. Thank you so much for watching. And remember, life is a series of choices between fear and love. Choose love. Always. We'll see you next time.